Hey pilots, Drain Man here. Today I have a very special video. Today we are going to learn how to set up KISS Lewis scripts. You're going to be able to control your quad from your Taranis. Alright pilots, so head over to this website. If you're not already here or you don't know how to get here, I went ahead and I put it down in the video description. Head down there and click that link. It's going to take you to this page. Once you get to this page, what you need to know next is which model Taranis are you putting it on. If you have a Horus or if you have an X7, an X9, and super cool, they have the X-Lite in here now too. So if you're running the X-Lite and you want to run Lewis scripts, you sure can. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and click on your Taranis. The one that I'm using is the X9D. So I went ahead and downloaded that. Once you have that downloaded, go ahead and open it up. Okay, once you have that downloaded, you're going to go ahead and take these files, hit extract. You're going to put it where you want to put it. Me, I have a special place for mine. It is going to go right inside of FPV, and I have a folder called Lewis scripts. I'm going to put them all in there. Press OK. Once you're done, you can exit out of that. Okay, the next thing you're going to do is open up your documents folder or wherever you put it. I don't know where you put yours. I put mine in a little folder I have called FPV. And then in here, I also went ahead and put it in my Lewis scripts folder. So later when I'm going to add it to another Taranis or for whatever reason I need to take it off or put it back on or whatever, I have it right here. If you are not going to need it in the future, feel free to delete it after you use it. But here they are. You can see them right here. I have the KISS folder, I have the CF Lua, and I have the SP Lua. And basically all that is Crossfire and S-Port. It depends on what you're running. I'd go ahead and put both just in case I have one quad that does one and one that does the other. But you're still going to, you can pick the one that you want if that's the way you want to do it. I'm going to go ahead and put both. The very next thing you need to do is you need to get into your Taranis. You can do that two ways. The first thing that's very important for you to know is that your Taranis works off of OpenTX firmware, and that firmware has to be 2.2 or greater. If you need to flash your Taranis because it's behind, there's plenty of videos on that. Feel free to find one and get that done. Now, you can use your Taranis and hold the two trim center buttons to the center and power up. That'll take you into the SD card. Or what I like to do is I like to just make it simple. I pull the SD card out. I put it right in the computer. Once you have done that, you should be able to open it up and have your drive available. This is my SD card contents. I don't know what yours looks like, but if it looks like this, great. If it doesn't look like this, there is a video on how to get your SD card contents. What we need to do now is we need to put our Lewis scripts onto the Taranis. So you need to go into the folder that's labeled scripts, and then you need to go into the folder that's labeled telemetry. And as you can see in here, my Betaflight Lewis scripts are right there. You want to go ahead and take these files and just simply grab them and drop them over into this folder over here. And what that's doing is it's just putting it onto your SD card. Once you are done with that, you're going to pull out your SD card and then put it into your Taranis, and we're off to the next step. Alright pilots, so we went ahead and set up the Taranis. That consists of pulling out the SD card or connecting through the USB cable and loading the actual Lewis scripts onto the remote. Doesn't matter which remote you have, whether you have the X9D, QX7, X-Lite, whatever you got, doesn't matter. That is what that part is. That part is getting the actual Lewis scripts loaded onto the SD card, which is inside of the Taranis. So even if you connect to a USB, you're still putting your contents onto the card. So if you don't have an SD card, get one. And you don't want to go too low. You don't want to get like a 2. You need to go like 4, 8, something like that. I mean, 16 is a little bit of overkill. But if you decide you want to put some background music or something like that, you'll have the space for it in the future. I like having plenty of space, so I always go a little bit bigger on my SD cards. But now that you have set up your SD cards, the next thing that you're going to do is you are going to go ahead and wire up the flight controller. So if you've got everything wired correctly and you've got your Taranis set up, then you go in and actually set it up. And I mean, KISS stands for K-I-S-S. Keep it super simple. Keep it simple, stupid, whatever you want to call it. And it truly is that. This is one of the things that I really like about KISS. If you're setting up Betaflight Lewis scripts or Race Flight, aka FlightOne Lewis scripts, which aren't even really working right now, but if you were to try to set it up, you're going to have some fun and you need to set some time off on your schedule because it's going to take a little bit. But for KISS, I mean, it's literally, you saw how easy it was to throw the Lewis grips onto the remote. Now I'm going to show you real quick how to wire it up, and then the next thing to do is just to set it on the Taranis and then fly away. It's phenomenal. It's so amazing. Lewis grips are great. I would never go without it. I've had situations where the quad ain't flying right and I need to change something and I can do it on the fly. Or a new guy shows up and he doesn't know how to get off my channel, so rather than pressing the button and counting blinks on the Unify VTX, forget it. I just do it on the Taranis real quick with my Lewis grips. I mean, I literally love Lewis grips. I just won't go without. So there's two parts to wiring this up, and what that is, or what that means, is you have your VTX side, you have your video transmitter side, and you have your receiver side, because your Lewis grips is not just changing your VTX channel or just changing things with your PID controller or your TPA or anything like that. This is actually being able to use both. So in order to do that, if you want to use both, you're going to have to set them both up. And what that means is we need to take the receiver, whether you're running Crossfire, Frsky, and if you're running Frsky, you've got to be running a RXSR or an XSR. You've got to be running something along those lines, because XM and XM Plus, they just don't do the telemetry, so you can't have it. So if you got one of those and you're trying to do this, you're out of luck. You can still go ahead and set up, and then in the future you'll have it when it's time, but you won't be able to wire it up because you just don't have the wire. There's no pin there for it because the receiver doesn't do it. And for Crossfire, I'm going to show you how to do that now. Keep it super simple. You guys are going to love this. So let's dive right into this. First thing I want to take a look at is, let's take a look at a VTX. So as you can see here, I have a Unify. This is the TBS Unify Pro HV. This is one of the most common VTXs. It's pretty much the go-to VTX. So what you need to wire on here, what you're going to wire on here, is going to be the smart audio. That's what this is. That's what smart audio is. I mean, other than being able to control it through your goggles, this is also what smart audio is. So in order to do that, there is a pin right here that you will see, and it says audio. Now, it has nothing to do with audio. It actually has to do with smart audio, and that's what that pin is. So when you put in your connector and you're going to have wires hanging out, that wire is going to be the color white. And that's as long as you haven't changed it and it's directly from the factory, it's going to be white. If you've depinned and put in new colors, then it's probably not going to be white anymore. It's going to be whatever color you put in. But you can always flip it over and look to the back, and you'll see right there where it says audio. That is the wire that I'm referring to when I show you on the flight controller where to put it. We're going to take a look at this one also, because this here is the TBS Unify V3. This is also an 800 milliwatt. You need to take note of audio. See it right there? Audio. That is a pin, and on this VTX, it doesn't matter, that's a different one. It is still going to be a white wire. Alright, we're going to take a look at one more. You do have tons of options. You have the Maytech, you have the Rush Tank. So you've got options. You've got the Maytech, you've got the Tramp, you've got other video transmitters. It's not always going to be a Unify. So on this one, you're going to notice right here is a pad right here. You can see where it says TX. That is going to be the TX pad. That is your transmit pad, aka your smart audio pad. This one is able to run it. The only difference is you won't be running the smart audio protocol for this one. This one does the Tramp protocol. You do need to know which protocol you're running, because that's very important with smart audio. Okay, so on this one, it's that simple. You are going to use your transmit pad. So if you have a different type of VTX, you can look for the audio wire. Make sure in the specs that it says that it does smart audio, whether it's Tramp or TBS, it doesn't matter. Make sure that it can do it. Also, look for the transmit pad or the audio pad, because that's the one you're going to need. Now, that handles the video transmit side. So for your video transmitter, that's what you will need in order to solder onto the flight controller to get your Lewis grips to work. So the very next thing that you're going to need to deal with or worry about is going to be your receiver. Now, that is to control the other things, to be able to control your PIDS or maybe your TPA. So let's go ahead and take a look at an Frsky real quick, because that's going to be the next one that is going to be an option other than Crossfire. If you're running FlySky, I'm sorry I can't help you, and if you're running Spectrum, obviously this has nothing to do with you. So here is the XM, and as you'll notice on this receiver, what you're going to notice right away is you have a power, ground, and a receive wire, because that's all this is going to be able to do. This is an XM Plus. You could tell by the size. If it was a regular XM, it'd be a little bit smaller. So you do not have a way to run Lewis scripts with this. You just can't. Here is an RXSR. This one can do it. If you have this receiver, you are good to go. And the wire that is going to be important for you, or the only wire you need to worry about in the case of setting up Lewis scripts, is going to be this yellow wire. And this yellow wire is smart port. You need this wire. This is the wire that you will set up in order to run Lewis scripts. The green wire is your S-bus or your receiver. It's your actual signal. That also has to get soldered up, but it has nothing to do with Lewis scripts. If you have a KISS V1, you can still do everything that we're doing. You're just going to have a little bit different pinout, and I'm not going over it because all the videos on Lewis scripts for KISS is super old and super useless. So that is why I'm making this video. So I want you to have an updated, so that's why it's an updated flight controller. Do not follow this pinout if you are not running the KISS V2 flight controller. That is very important. Go ahead and take a look here at the flight controller, and what you're going to see is you're going to see how I've wired this. First thing to see is mine is a tramp. On your tramp there is a pad called T. See that right there? That T is this green wire. So if you're running a tramp, you're going to be green wire, and you're going to pull it from T, and you're going to bring it over here to this pad right here. And this is the TX5 pad. Tramp equals green wire equals T pad, and you run it over to the TX5. That is for the tramp. If you're running the Unify, it's going to be the audio or smart audio wire, and it's going to head over to the TX5 pad. So no matter which VTX you're running, your ultimate goal is to bring it from the transmit or from the audio pad and solder it up on the TX5. That takes care of your video transmitter as far as soldering it up and getting it ready. The very next thing you're going to solder up is going to be a receiver. If you are running a Crossfire receiver, you are going to solder it exactly like I have it here. And that is to take your transmit, which is this pad here. This pad is going to be labeled TX on your pinout for your Crossfire. And it's going from the TX all the way over, and it's going to connect right here to RX TLM, which is RX telemetry. You need to take your receive from your Crossfire and solder it up to your RX on the flight controller. That's what this one is here. So the white wire is going to come over, and it's going to solder right here where it says UART, and then once again the transmit wire, which I have chosen the color code yellow, and it comes over to the RX TLM pad. You've got to give 5 volts in ground. Okay, so if you are using a RXSR or Frsky receiver, it is going to look identical to this. You're going to solder up your ground, your 5 volt, and then you're going to go ahead and take your S-bus, and you're going to solder your S-bus, which remember, it's the green wire. You're going to solder it right here where my white wire is, which is the UART pad. And then you're going to take your S-port wire, which is usually a yellow wire. And you are going to solder that up right here to RX TLM. And that is going to give you smart port from your receiver. And you would have already soldered up your smart audio from your VTX, no matter which one you have. Okay, so now that your flight controller is wired and ready to go, the very next thing we're going to do is we're going to set it up. Okay, pilots, go ahead and pull open your KISS GUI and connect your flight controller to the GUI. Alright, once you have done that, go ahead and press connect. What you need to do in here is you need to set up your receiver. So depending what receiver you're running, go ahead and put it in. Mine, as you saw, is Crossfire. If you're running Crossfire, go ahead and click Crossfire. If you're running your Frsky, you're going to go ahead and go to Frsky S-Bus. Once you have that selected, the next thing you need to do is you need to head over to the Advanced tab. Make sure that you click Save, or else it does not save. It's just going to erase everything that you put in. So head over to the Advanced tab. In the Advanced tab, you need to set up your Vtx Config. So depending what type you're running, as you saw in this exact build, I am running the Tramp. So I have the Tramp selected. If you're running a Unify, then you're going to want to go to TBS Unify, and that's for your smart audio. So be sure, if you're not running the 2 big name brands, which means you don't have a Tramp and you don't have a Unify, you have something like a Maytech or a Rush or whatever you got, doesn't matter. If you have something other than these 2, make sure you go on to the store that you bought it from or check on the internet and find out the protocol that it uses. It's going to either use Tramp or it's going to use TBS. It's usually one or the other. If it's something else, then you probably bought it from Banggood and you should probably ship it back and get a real VTX. I'm just kidding. Doesn't matter what you got. So after you've done that, go ahead and click Save. Alright, pilots, so as you can see, we're almost done setting this up. It is so easy. It is definitely, keep it super simple. I mean, it's so easy. We're almost done. I've had no problems. You've had no problems. We're setting it up just flawlessly. Everything is working great. If for any reason you're running into trouble, you're having a hard time, feel free to comment on the video. I am open to that. It's something that I've been doing. I like to use the comment section as a thread for troubleshooting, figuring out. If you're a more experienced pilot, shoot down to the comments and see who's having trouble and help them out. So now the next thing we need to do, and the last thing we need to do, is we need to dive into the actual radio and set up the very last step. So let's jump in.
Welcome to OpenTX.
Go ahead and power up.
Switch warning.
And then you're going to go to the model that you're going to be running with this. If you have more than one, make sure you do more than one. Let's go ahead and check and make sure that everything was set up properly. And you can do that by holding down the menu button. So let's go ahead and hold down menu. That's going to take you to radio setup. I want you to then page. Alright, then I want you to go ahead and head down to the folder that you put it in, which is scripts. Press enter, and then head down to telemetry and press enter, and make sure you see it there. You see how I'm seeing KISS? That means everything that I put on there is there. I've got my Crossfire Lua and I've got my SmartPort Lua, so everything is good. I want you to check that. Make sure you have it. If you don't have that there right now, I want you to head back over to the first step of my video and go ahead and rinse and repeat until you have those there, because you got to have that there. If you don't, bring your ass back to the beginning of the video and set this up. Alright, go ahead and get out of there now and go ahead and press menu and page. And we are going to just keep on paging. This is where you need to stop. So you need to be on 13 of 13. So what that basically means is from this beginning page, you can press menu and then hold page and it'll take you here because it's literally the last page. If not, press menu and then page over till you get to 13. Alright, now we are here. Once you are here, you need to go down to screen 1. If for any reason you have something on screen 1, that's fine. I would recommend to move it to screen 2 and then put this on screen 1, but you're welcome to do it however you want. Head on down to it. Alright, press enter and then go ahead and use your up and down, or if you have your wheel, scroll your wheel till you get to script. Press enter. Go down again. Go over to this next spot. Press enter and you're going to see your different options. I have Betaflight. I also have Butterflight. I've got KISS Crossfire and KISS SmartPort. For this quadcopter, I am going to need the KISS Crossfire. I'm going to select it, and that is going to be what comes up on that page. After you've done that, press exit, exit, till you get back to the main screen. Now, from this step, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to power up your quad and make sure that they are talking to each other. Go ahead and power that guy up. Alright, so now that I'm powered up, in order to get to your Lua scripts, you're going to hold down page, and there it is. As you can see, I have my PIDS, and let's go through these real quick. This is not the same as scrolling through your regular menu. Your regular menu, you would hit page. This doesn't work like that. To scroll through, you're going to press menu. So I'm going to hit menu, and that's going to take me, so now first you saw we can do our PIDS. Now you see we can do our RC rate, our super rate, and our RC curve. If I press menu, I can adjust my TPA custom, my throttle percentage, my influence. I can do my filters, yaw, low pass filters, D-term filters. I can set up alarms for my VBAT, so I can say, hey, when I'm at 1,000 milliamp hours, go ahead and alert me. Or I can say when I'm at voltage, etc., alert me. Let's hit page. Here's your VTX. This is your smart audio, so this lets you know that I'm on race band. Low power is when you are disarmed. Your VTX is on 25 milliwatts, and when you arm, your VTX is on 800 milliwatts. Here's your channel. Here's your band. If I hit menu again, it brings me to my D set point. And then I'm back to my PIDS. So as you can see, it's not just, oh, let me set up my PIDS or let me just change my channel. I mean, you could do a lot of things from this, and KISS is really pushing the bar with these Lewis scripts. Betaflight is too now. I mean, Lewis scripts are truly awesome. I don't see any reason in the world why you would not have them. Now, I want to go ahead and do one quick test. If you change something in here, your quad should tell you that you have changed it. So I'm going to do something very small, and I'm going to just change that to $12.99. Normally you would hold enter to save. This is not like that. You're going to hold menu, and then it's going to say save page. And keep in mind, if you change something and you don't save it, it will not save. So I'm going to hit press save page, and the quad should let me know that we have done that. I hope that you heard that. I'm going to change it back, and then that should let you definitely hear it. As you heard that beep, that gives me confirmation that the Taranis actually talked to the flight controller. They decided that what I put was good, they liked it, and they saved it. So as you can see, that went ahead and saved on there. Alright pilots, so your KISS Lewis scripts are successfully set up. I hope that this video was helpful. If it was, hit the subscribe. If you're already subscribed, thank you. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one.